Okay, so I actually have some handouts here that make it a lot easier to follow along with this. So pause request is something that's going to help you to get an action done that you're requesting to someone else. So we're going to practice all these steps in the sessions, because they're all really good steps, and the more steps you go over, the more beneficial it is. But at home, you might kind of summarize some of this, and you might not go through all of the steps, or it might not even be necessary to go through all of them. So how about you give me an example of something that you would want someone else to do for you?
That I would like Brittany to do, or
sure.
Just, okay. I would like her to do her chores without me having to ask her repeatedly.
Okay, I think that's a good one. I think that's something that a lot of parents tend to ask. So okay, so what I'll do is I'll use that situation to kind of model how to go through each of these steps. So the first step I'm going to do is I'm going to request it. So I'm going to kind of go through each of these steps real quickly, and then I'll kind of go back and explain some of them, but I'm going to kind of try to go through this request rather quickly. What I would say is, Brittany, I'd really appreciate it if you could please be able to finish the chores that I've given you without me having to kind of remind you repeatedly. I know that it can be difficult for you to remember to do all your chores because you have other things going on, and you're kind of involved with your friends and wanting to do fun things. But I think it would be good for you if you did it, because it really just, I think, helps to teach you to kind of be timely and to kind of manage your responsibilities, because sooner or later someone isn't going to be telling you to do these things. Now obviously it would be good for me, because then I wouldn't have to kind of take time away to stress over having you do it and kind of be there, kind of almost in a sense nagging you to do something. What I can do to help you get this accomplished is I could help you to create maybe a schedule, if that's helpful. If you think maybe increasing your allowance slightly to make it a little more motivating, we can maybe discuss that. And in fact, if you can get it done, if I could see that you could do at least most of the week or a full week of getting your chores done without me even having to say anything, then I would be willing to give you like an extra $5 for that week. Because this would be something that I would really appreciate and be really helpful if you could kind of help me out this way. Now, if you can't get it done without me having to kind of give you reminders, then maybe we can kind of renegotiate what your allowance is and kind of base it on how many times I'm having to tell you, or if you don't get something done, then maybe that you deduct your allowance. That's kind of what I was thinking. I don't know if you have any ideas about what might be another alternative, but those are some of the things that I was kind of thinking. Okay. And that's basically it. So let me kind of go and recap kind of all of them, and I'm not sure how easy it was to kind of follow along, because I was just trying to hit each of those steps to make it kind of a little more fluid. So you notice I said please. I was really specific in what I wanted. I was kind of empathizing with her, kind of letting her know, like, why it might be difficult, because if there wasn't any sort of challenge in any way, well then chances are it'd probably be getting done a lot easier, right? Mm-hmm. I'm trying to let her know what I think the benefits for her could be, and certainly what the benefits are for me. I also kind of tried to offer assistance, because if it is something she needs to be helped with, if assistance can usually help facilitate someone getting something done, and even offering some sort of incentive like a reward is also another way to help get something done. I tried to show that I really appreciate it. And then kind of the last step is, thinking of, well, what would be an alternative? What is something that would be acceptable? Kind of opening the door to compromise, so to say, and even sometimes offering the other person to kind of offer suggestions as well, which then kind of, in a sense, actually leads back to once you've made that request to someone, then they can either choose to kind of accept what exactly was requested, or that opens the door for them to make their own positive request. So, and then that would kind of help to find where is that compromise in terms of, mutually both getting something accomplished. What was it that you liked? So each of, maybe I'll start with you, Mom. What was it that you liked about how I went through those steps?
Well, it pretty much covered everything that I would have liked to have done, and the alternatives I would have had in mind, so that was pretty good. I like how it offered like the chore chart thing, or instead of as a prompt, without kind of me having to constantly remind her. It's like a unintrusive prompt, so it's kind of like the compromise. I like the compromise part of it, without me having to completely lose my mind. So
yeah, no, I mean, a lot of times things have to be compromised, and so that's something you appreciated about it. Great.
Yeah.
How about you, Brittany?
I think I like the compromise of it too. I think that it'd be really nice for us to communicate and figure out exactly what both of us want. I really enjoyed the reward part.
Oh yeah, certainly. Yeah, and then that's great.
I think it'd be nice that she would empathize with me. She understands why it could be difficult for me to do some of the things. So.
Excellent. Yeah, those are all great things, and you can see each of these steps really helps to bring something to it, and certainly being rewarded for things, being able to compromise, even just having more positive communication. That's really kind of what's going to be the most helpful. So I think you guys will really enjoy this and can benefit from this. So like I said earlier, after kind of letting them, open the door to possibilities of other alternatives to the other person you're making the request of, the other person then is kind of at a point where either they can, accept it flat out, or at that point then, if they want to kind of compromise or bring up an alternative, then that's their chance to then kind of go back to the same steps. Okay.